Prego, my name is Ron Falconi, and welcome to another edition of Meet Your Neighbor. I had this idea back in the fall of 2006 where I would invite various people from our community to come on down here to the Brunswick area television studios so that all of you could meet your neighbor. We have a very special guest today. Actually, he is a former guest. He has been on the show before. The second person in the history of Meet Your Neighbor to want to actually return to Meet Your Neighbor. I want you to meet, he has a very special announcement today. His name is Bill Haney. Bill, welcome to the studios today.
Thank you very much, Ron. I appreciate you having me on again.
How are you today, sir?
Fantastic.
Do you have a special announcement to make to the people watching, at least on TV in Brunswick and Brunswick Hills, or maybe people watching on the internet right now?
Yes, I've decided to throw my hat in to run for the 13th District U.S. Congressman position. The primary is going to be in May, and then we'll have the, if I get past that, then the general election will be in November of 2010.
Wonderful. Bill, can you tell me something about yourself that not everyone knows about?
Okay, not related to politics. I'll say I guess I could admit that I think Donny Osmond is a cool guy.
Donny Osmond?
Yeah, we all know Dean Martin is, the king of cool, but even when I was a kid, I always admired the Osmonds, and Donny's was extremely successful as a young kid, and
True.
Always keeps his head on his shoulder, didn't get involved in drugs, stayed married to the same girl, and had a big, large family, and has been very successful. And he really rocked with his brothers back in the 70s with some of those songs, if you guys are familiar with any of those.
Hey, Bill, can you tell us, why do you want to be a congressman?
Yeah, we'll get right into the serious issues
yeah.
here. I love America, and I'm very concerned of what's going on in America right now. I think that we're losing our traditional Christian values that the country was founded on. And I think we're not having that in this current administration and our current representation in Congress. I think the three main things are traditional family values, fiscal responsibility, and America First policies, foreign and domestic policies.
Okay.
I think we're kind of getting away from that, and that's really why I want to run and get back to it. We've killed 40 million babies, unborn babies in this country. Our debt is now $12 trillion.
Yes.
In the last 2 years, it's increased $3 trillion. I mean, that's our debt. That's just ridiculous. And the fact that even though the economy is bad and it has been for a long time, we still haven't done anything to reverse the negative trend that NAFTA has taken jobs away from America. I think we need to start focusing on that again.
Bill, how did you get involved in politics?
My first memory of politics was in 1972 when I was 8 years old.
Oh, wow.
Which makes me 45.
Okay.
But President Nixon came in town when I lived in Brook Park.
Oh, okay.
For his re-election campaign. He was coming through a motorcade, I think on Snow Road. And my dad took me and my brother. And at the time, I don't know if you remember that show, Love American Style.
Yes.
My mother made signs that said, Peace American Style with Nixon. And Nixon was always doing, peace with honor and all that.
Right.
So my brother and I were holding up the signs, and Nixon came by and gave us a thumbs up and smiled. And said, that is pretty cool. Actually, at the same time, there were some hippies, if you want to call them that, with signs that said Nixon's a hot dog and that kind of thing. My brother's like, why do those people have those signs like that?
Yeah.
My dad said, because they're idiots. So that's just one of my early memories. And since then, I've seen Ronald Reagan speak.
Wow.
When he was president in the mid-'80s.
Okay.
I went to go see Vice President Bush speak at the time, when he was Reagan's vice president. But being single in college, we were more interested in flirting with the female Secret Service men than listening to the vice president, but we did hear him speak. Saw George W. Bush, and I actually shook hands with President Carter once on an airplane. So
that's interesting.
I've always been involved, interested in international and national issues.
Wow. Ohio's 13th Congressional District. Can you describe which areas that encompasses? Obviously, it's in Brunswick and Brunswick Hills, but...
Right. It's kind of an odd direction. It starts in Lorain County with Elyria and Lorain.
Okay.
Comes down to Strongsville, North Royalton, and like you said, into Brunswick.
Okay.
And then it goes down into Summit County with Akron and Cuyahoga Falls.
Okay. Bill, what do you see as some of the major issues facing Ohio's 13th congressional district right now?
I think the same issues that are facing the nation are the same ones that are facing the district.
Okay.
I mean, the collapse of the family and our Christian values, the ridiculous stimulus packages that are making money appear out of thin air that we don't really have.
Okay.
And the fact, again, that we just don't have true congressional representation in Washington. Not only the 13th district, but in many places throughout the country.
Okay. And maybe this is just building on that. What do you see as some of the major issues facing the country economically?
Yeah, again, it's the wasteful and the irresponsible spending. A great example is as the Cash for Clunkers, which our current Congressman Betty Sutton was part of getting that initiated.
Okay.
According to Edmunds.com, that stimulus package actually cost the taxpayers $24,000 per vehicle to get the bump. You know, you had the amount of cars that you would normally sell, and the bump was $24,000 per vehicle. That's $3 billion that we spent. That was ridiculous and didn't really do much other than the fact that it also mandated that we destroyed the trade-in cars.
Okay.
A lot of lower-income people could have used those vehicles. So you hurt the poor. You also hurt the businesses because people would have bought those cars would need servicing. So we didn't have that. They didn't have that opportunity either. So that's just an example. You got the cap and trade that's coming up that could really destroy even more the country's economics. And of course, the big debate right now is over health care.
Okay.
Right now, we're trying to spend trillions of more dollars to initiate an overhaul instead of just tweaking it. You know, allowing insurance companies to compete over borders, state borders, which actually the Senate bill actually has part of that, but it also wants to just take total control of 20% of our economy. And if it ends up to be that abortions are paid for by taxpayers, and if they have a public option, which is really just taking control of the entire medical industry, I think there's going to be a huge outcry in this country, I believe.
Bill, what do you see as some of the issues facing our country internationally?
Well, obviously the war on terror
Yes.
is big right now. I still don't think that we've clearly defined what our goals are in Iran and Afghanistan, which we obviously need to do that. If we want to make a democracy in those countries, then we should have, from the get-go, put a figure in there like General Douglas MacArthur that take control and change it into a Japan. If our goal is to destroy Al-Qaeda, then we need to do that to get the job done and get out of there. Regardless, it needs to be clearly defined, and we need to have those countries paying for the operation. I mean, we're giving our blood, we're sharing our technology. The least they could do is pay for part of that. I mean, it's a very expensive part of our budget.
Okay. Bill, what are some of the top 3 things that you would do if you were elected congressman?
Picking 3 is difficult, but I'd like to break it down again into 3 different things. You've got traditional family values, fiscal responsibility, and America First policies. Under the first, obviously, I'm pro-life. I think that we should promote stay-home moms. What I would try to get through is a $10,000 tax credit for any 2-parent homes with kids under 18 with one parent staying home, whether it's the dad or the mom. It primarily would be the mom, obviously, but the way we are. But I think that would help families. It would increase educational value. It'll open up the job market for people looking for jobs right now. It'll actually increase salaries as well. So I think there's nothing but a good benefit around that. I think God and the 10 Commandments should be in all schools. Those are the primary things there. You can look on my website, billhaney.org, for more details, but just to cover it real quickly. Under fiscal responsibility, I don't believe in any federal bailouts whatsoever. I think what President Reagan did back in the 80s to save Harley-Davidson was something that's beneficial. It did not take taxpayer money, but we put tariffs on foreign-made vehicles, and it ended up saving Harley-Davidson. So those kinds of things I agree with. I believe in zero-based budgeting. We shouldn't be spending more than we have. And I also believe in energy independence. I think we need to drill, and we need to look at more clean coal technologies.
Okay. Bill, where do you live?
I live in Brunswick in the In the Fairways Division, right
Yes.
off of 303.
I'm familiar with that.
Yeah.
How long have you lived there?
About 5 years now. We like it. It's a nice place.
That's good. Bill, the last time you were on the show, you were on as the president of the Fairways Homeowners
Right.
Association. How did that prepare you, or didn't it prepare you for your run for Congress?
Well, it's interesting because you learn it. You can't make everybody happy.
Sure.
Sometimes you have to say no, and that obviously doesn't make people happy sometimes.
Uh-huh.
When we were there, we had some significant financial repairs that needed to be made.
Okay.
But we were able to, we had to increase our dues, but not near the percentage of what our increases were.
Okay.
And we also did some things like taking care of past dues, which at the same time of increased spending, we were able to put more into the reserve financially. So we left the board better off than when we were there, when we started. So I felt pretty good about that.
Fantastic. Are you married, Bill? Do you have any kids?
Yes, I'm married to a lovely girl by the name of Peggy, who was actually born and raised in Ireland.
Oh, okay.
And we have 2 great boys. Logan is 10 years old. Liam is 8.
Okay.
So we have 5th grader and a 3rd grader at St. Albert the Great Parish in North Royalton. Their
Okay.
schools where they go there.
Okay.
And we have another baby due March 1st.
Oh, congratulations.
Thanks.
Bill, can you explain your educational background to people watching in Brunswick, Brunswick Hills, or people on the internet right now?
Sure. I graduated from St. Ambrose Day School here in Brunswick.
Okay.
Went to Brunswick High School, graduated there in 1982, and I went to Cleveland State University, and I graduated with a Bachelor of Arts in 1986.
86. Okay. I know that we have some photos that you gave to me, and maybe if we can cue those up there.
Sure.
Can you describe this photo?
Yeah, that's my basic training photo. I was in the Ohio Army National Guard for 6 years as a military police officer.
Oh.
So very
Okay.
proud of that.
Okay.
It's my family, my wife Peggy, and I have the kids Logan and Liam.
Okay. Okay.
I was actually taken over Thanksgiving. There's some
Oh, that's nice. A
fall decorations back there.
great photo. And
That's
this one?
me running after my son Liam. I've been coaching soccer now for about 6 years, and
Okay.
they don't really have championships. We had the best record, so I consider championships 3 times outdoor and twice indoors. That's a picture with Leanne Rhymes.
Okay.
Had an opportunity to meet her backstage a couple times. Very nice, personable girl.
That's good.
And that's the greatest right-handed pitcher of all time, Bob Feller. Also a World War II hero.
Oh,
great,
wow.
great patriot, good guy. It was an honor to meet him.
Was this in this next picture?
And that's Charlie Daniels,
Yes.
also another patriot, sang one of the greatest patriotic songs of all time in America.
That's good.
And that's Peggy, my wife, with a famous basketball player, LeBron
I wonder who
James.
he is.
Hopefully he'll get married next year and be a good influence on the young kids in
Yet here
the
we
area.
got
That's Mark Price.
Yes.
Yeah, it's my favorite Cleveland Cavalier of all time. He's a Christian singer as well when he was here.
Yes. Okay. Here you have your picture here with the former governor Mike Huckabee.
That's right. We have a mutual friend, Janet Folger, that we were talking about briefly when the picture was taken.
Oh, that's great.
And there's a picture of me around 2000 with Patrick J. Buchanan. I was his Northeast Ohio coordinator when he ran for president that year.
Oh, okay, wonderful. And then here?
That's meeting Sarah Palin a couple weeks ago at a
that's
book
nice.
signing. So
That's good. Where was that? Here in
that was
Ohio?
actually in Cincinnati. That picture was actually
Cincinnati.
taken by Sheila Craighead, which I should say, and the Patrick Buchanan picture was taken by Thomas Photography.
Oh, okay.
Just give them their plugs.
Bill, well, what are some of the things you like to do for fun?
Oh, I love Cleveland sports, the Cavs, the Browns, the Indians. I go to a few games every year. I work out on a regular basis. I don't think I've missed more than a week since basic training, just trying to keep the gut off a little bit.
Wonderful.
And I like meeting famous people, as you saw in some of those pictures, and getting autographs and stuff. It's kind of a lot of fun.
That's neat. Bill, as you were, the former guest on the show, I like to play a game of fill in the blank.
Right.
Okay. My favorite book that I have read is blank.
Well, obviously the Holy Bible is the most important book.
Okay.
There's,
Okay.
incredible stories in there. Other than that, I just finished a book. It's The Mystical City of God.
Oh.
It's a nonfiction book about the life of the Blessed Mother and Jesus. And it's one book that I highlighted it. I would just be reading it and shaking my head and highlighting it. And I bought a couple copies of it for Christmas gifts this year.
Oh, that's good.
I was pretty impressed with it.
Good. The person or persons that I admire most are
I'd hate to just say one. I mean, if I could break it out, like, I mean, religiously, you got Jesus, the Blessed
Sure.
Mother. I mean, St. Joseph, St. Augustine, I'm really close to them.
Okay.
Politically, George Washington and Ronald Reagan.
Okay.
Militarily, General Douglas MacArthur.
Okay.
Sports-wise, would be Bob Feller and Otto Graham. But personally, it would be my wife, Peggy.
Oh.
I mean, she's just a beautiful person inside and out, incredible singer, very good Catholic girl. So I'm very happy to be married to her.
That's good. Bill, the one place I want to travel to or visit is blank.
I'd love to go to the Holy Land, see the places that Jesus
You've
walked.
never been there before?
No, I've been to Rome, but never to the Holy Land. I'd love to go there.
Same here. Yeah, I think it would be fantastic to visit there one
Yeah,
day.
it would be. Maybe we'll go. We'll bring the family.
I think we should. Bill, can you give any neighborly advice to people who are watching right now in Brunswick, Brunswick Hills, or maybe people watching on the internet around the world?
I'd ask people to please do your homework before you vote. Take a look at my website, billhaney.org, and take a look at what I have to say. If my values match your values, please consider voting for me when the election time comes. I would really appreciate that.
Bill Haney, candidate for Ohio's 13th House District. Thank you for coming down to the show today.
Thank you, Ron. We really appreciate it. Take care.
My name is Ron Falconi. I'm the host of Meet Your Neighbor. I wanted to thank Bill Haney, a candidate for Congress, for coming down to the show today. Once again, I had this idea back in 2006 where I wanted to invite local celebrities and politicians and business people to come down to the studio so all of you can meet your neighbor. I doubt there's anything more profound to be said, so I'll just say goodbye and ciao.